What's good, y'all? Thank you for tuning in. Look, I'm gonna jump right into it. I don't plan on being in front of you long because this is one of my random thoughts episodes. Uh, you see what the title says? It says baby formula, so you should know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm going to post this woman's picture now. This woman has gone viral on TikTok for posting videos of herself calling churches and ministries asking if they would give her baby formula. And this has me in a conflicted position, and I'm gonna tell you why. Some churches said yes, some churches said no. Look, I'm gonna just let you know I've seen Corey Minor from Smart Christians channel talk about this, or Biblical Response. I've seen, I think his name is Aaron Page, talk about it, and watching them two talk about it, seeing them play the videos into their fruition. Corey Minor went live on it. It just got me in a position to where I'm conflicted about this. And I'm not the type to want to post about stuff and make make anything I talk about specifically about pop culture or things that are hot or things that are trending. But this really has me in an extremely conflicted position, and I wanted to know if anybody else felt the same way. I'm going to tell you why I'm conflicted. Well, let me tell you what happened. Let me give you a quick summary of what happened. Uh, so, as I said, she's going around and she's called different churches all over the United States, and she's been asking them if they can give baby formula. She said her 2 month old did not ran out of formula last night, and as she continued with this ongoing and ongoing process, somebody told her to put a crying baby in the background. So she downloaded a audio clip of a crying baby and had a crying baby in the background, trying to make it seem more realistic. A lot of churches said no. Some churches did try to say yes and help her out. Um, and that's been the extent of everything that she's been doing. She's been posting the names of these churches, where they're located at, and everything. It's been something interesting. I have had absolutely no interest in going to see what they say in the comments, because to me, that's when it just gets a little bit too much, and where I'm not focused on the will of God, but I'm focused on the latest trending topic more than anything else. What has me conflicted about this is, let's look at this from the perspective of asking an organization for help. When we look at situations like this, like asking an organization for help, a lot of people already look to the church like the church is supposed to do absolutely everything. And it's kind of crazy for me saying this because I completely understand when we constantly hear the church say, bring your tithes to the storehouse. And the church is constantly calling themselves a storehouse when it's actually the pastor wanting you to bring the tithes to his house. I want to say your house just because it would rhyme. So I understand all this money that is donated and dedicated to the storehouse for times like this. I completely understand wanting to lean on the church in times of despair, in times of trouble, in times of hardship. I understand that completely. Uh, but you are talking about asking an organization for help. With a lot of organizations, like, I put it to you like this: I used to work in restaurants, right? I used to work in restaurants. One thing I didn't understand about working in restaurants is why they would discard so much food at the end of the night. Um, but later, what I came to realize about working in these restaurants is they would discard so much food late in the night, because if they didn't, then you have so many people that would order the food, let it sit, come back at the end of the night and get it for next to nothing or free because they don't want to let food go to waste. I still think there are better ways of discarding the food. Like, I don't believe everybody's going to run to the soup kitchen to get food that's a day old or 2 days old that they can buy fresh from a restaurant. I think the option for restaurants should be to take the food that's worth sending to a restaurant, sending the food that's still salvageable, sending that to food kitchens. That's what I think. That way you won't have so much food going to waste. But I do completely understand the process of me going, I do understand the process of me ordering a pizza, canceling my order for the pizza, then going in 30 or 40 minutes later, seeing if they have this type of pizza and getting it at a discount. We have too many people. I used to really truly look at the positive side of people But now I'm a whole lot more skeptical about how people are, and I know that we have people out there who, if they can't take advantage of you, if they can't take advantage of a situation, they will. I look at organizations in that same way, which is funny because I'm not the type of person who attend service on a regular basis. I do a lot of dedication and a lot of worship on my own, and I have personal meetings with people, personal times to where we'll talk about scripture, talk about the word with people. But I'm not dedicated. I'm not committed to any ministry, and I don't think I ever will be. If God moves and decides to commit me to a ministry, then I know I'll be going there for God. But me not being committed to a ministry does not hinder my relationship or my walk with God. That being said, with how I see ministries as needing, as just not being for me, I can completely understand why some of these ministries have things set up in place to where they may have to get a little bit of information from you before they just give you something. I completely understand that. Again, I'll say it like this, people look towards ministries to take care of all of their problems. And I'm not saying ministry shouldn't help those going through hard times. I am not saying that at all. But I am saying people do look towards these organizations and towards these businesses, whether we want to admit it or not. These ministries have to operate like a business. They look towards these ministries, they look towards these businesses for help, and you do have people who will take advantage of that help. If you don't believe me, just look at your local church the next time they have a food drive and see how many people go to that food drive and get food that do not need food. People will take advantage of situations. People will take advantage of people who are willing to help out. So I can understand having certain rules and things like that in place. On a personal level, if I'm at a church and someone calls and says that they have a 2-month-old child that they need baby formula for, as long as I have it in my pockets, they are going to be able to get that baby some formula as soon as possible. If it's me, I'm going to sit up here and let you know and answer the phone with like, hey, we give everything to this organization. You can contact that organization. Okay, you really need it? Well, what's your Zelle? What's your Cash App? I'll send you the money right now to go get you the formula. Or like I did see a couple of comments when I was looking at, I think it's Aaron Page, as he said, a couple of comments did sit up here and say that they just put in a Walmart order or something like that for the baby to get some formula. I'll even do something like that. I can understand that. On a personal level, yes, I would definitely give, especially if somebody's saying, hey, they got a 2-month-old baby that needs some formula. This person isn't asking for money. They're asking for formula itself. So in that instance, on a personal level, I know I'd rather just go ahead and give, even if I am skeptical about this person calling the church saying they need to get that baby some formula. With me having the heart that I'd have, that's what I would do. From a business aspect, again, I can understand having certain rules in place to where you don't do that. Uh, and again, this is funny to me because with these churches being a storehouse, this is exactly what the storehouse is put up for. Uh, if she was asking for money, I'd be more skeptical about it. But it's kind of, again, this is why I said I'm conflicted because I can completely understand from a business aspect on why you just won't give to any and everybody that's asking you for something. If most businesses, and especially let's say in this, let's get real specific. If most churches, even if they call themselves nonprofit organizations, have to run and stay viable on funds, are there ministries out there who completely take advantage of people giving to them? Yes, absolutely. But there's still money that needs to be set aside for certain things in these churches to keep the building going just in case something happens. If they gave to everybody who asked without having something in place to make sure the people who really needed it, to make sure they had something for the people who really needed it, Granted, I'm talking about the good churches. I'm not talking about these mega ministries out here, the ones who were literally just in it for the money. But if they didn't have anything set aside for the people who really needed it, and it just gave to everybody who, as the doors of the church, the doors of a lot of these ministries would close. And then we'd be complaining about churches not being open or churches not being able to handle their business. On a conscious level, it's kind of tough to decide when to do things like that, when to give and when to sow. Initially, when I got saved, I'd give as long as I had some extra money in my pocket that wouldn't hurt my finances. I'd give to every homeless person I saw. I donate to every situation that I could. But as I've grown and as I've gotten wiser, I've just realized that you can't really operate like that and just give to every situation. I really truly believe that in our hearts, God will touch us in our hearts. He'll touch us in our spirits and let us know when it's meant for us to give and when it's not. I can sit up here and drive to work and I'll see the same homeless person out there asking for money every single day. Does that mean that every single day this homeless, I see this homeless person, I give to that homeless person? That may not be the best example, but that is exactly how I do look at things now. Um, and I did go through a personal situation about a week ago that also has me conflicted about doing this on a personal level. The personal situation I went through was I do a little bit of spoken word, and I went to this event. I saw this artist uh, who did a pretty good job performing, sent her friend request on social media, and as skeptical as I was, she sent something in my inbox. I'm assuming that she sent to a lot of people, talking about the situation that her and her son was in, and how uh, she needed to get something taken care of before the winter came along, and how she was just asking the community for help. And she asked you to donate at least $10, and she'll send you a link to her song that hasn't been released yet. Okay, cool. You're doing something, and you're asking the community for help, but you're willing to give them something um, in the process of asking them for help. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and give because this may be a serious situation. She had a little 3-year-old child. I said I'm gonna give because this may be a serious situation. So that's what I did, even though too, I didn't feel something about me felt off about that. But even in situations where something about me, something feels off, I'd at least try to do something, and that's what I did. I did something, um, but I just so happened to manage to give in a way to where she didn't know it was specifically me that gave. I don't believe in everybody knowing when you help out or how you help out. I think that's very self righteous. Point being is about a week later, I get a audio clip from her where she's asking for more money for the same reason her and her son are backed up on this and they need help with this, they need help with that. I immediately unfriended her and blocked her because now it's starting to seem like a scam. Now it's starting to seem like she's just literally posting in people's inboxes asking them for money when there may be other better ways for her to get the help that she needs. Um, but me being in a situation like that has me looking at what this woman has done, and I'm not necessarily knocking what she's done. Well, I can't say I'm not knocking what she's done. What I'm saying is I get why she did it. I completely understand why she did it because churches are supposed to be there for situations like this. And again, she's not asking for money. She's literally just asking for a formula. I can understand again, churches having things in place to where they won't be able to just give right out. But on a personal level, I still would have gave. I want to make sure y'all understand that in a situation like this, on a personal level, even if it may have taken some money out of my pockets towards a bill because all she was asking for was some formula, I would have given her. I would have made a way for her to get the formula, or just sent here, cashed out her, or Zelle her the money to get the formula. That's the type of person that I am, even though I even feel like it's crass saying that this is what I would have done. But the problem that I have with this is, as much as I'm trying to understand why you ran this social experiment, why did you run this social experiment? As much as I want to side with her 100% for running this social experiment and posting the results, I can't help but think about the other person on that phone. Uh, and it's just something about thinking about the other person on that phone who has even tried to help and then say, hey, get that. I understand that's cool, that's all. And I understand you were going to help, but I'm just running a social experiment. I can't understand that. And it may seem minor to some people. It may seem minor, but having your day, having to shift moves in your day from someone telling you that they need help and they have a crying baby in the background, and you find out that it's just a social experiment, that would put me more in a position to where I do not trust people, and it would make me a little bit more hesitant to give if I am working for this organization or this ministry, or even if I own or run this organization or this ministry. It'll be situations like this that would get me to the point to where my organization has certain policies and rules in place, to where there's a certain approval process that you have to go through in order for me to be able to give and help you out in these situations. I'm not sure if that makes sense to anybody else, but that's the best way that I can explain it when I say this situation is conflicting to me, because I understand completely what she's done, but considering the fact that you are going around and running this social experiment, getting results that people need to see. I'm not blaming her for what she's done at all. Let me make sure I say that. I'm not blaming her for what she's done at all, but I'm just asking a question. Could it be that along with the people who will take advantage of anybody who's willing to give, could it be that running social experiments like this will also put ministries who are willing to give in a position to where now, let me tell you what this does. What this does is now, since people know where people are, where they're located at, who are going to try to give, there are going to be people who take that and take advantage of it. They're going to see that, and they're going to start calling on these ministries and taking advantage of the fact that they can and will help out even if they cannot really afford it. Then the next thing you know, rules and everything are going to be put in place, because a lot more people are going to come to them. Half of them will need help, and half of them will just want help. There's a major, major difference. Half of them will need help, and half of them will just want help. But these ministries who are in a position to give, who have now been shown to the world, are going to have people come to them that don't need anything, but they're going to play on the kind, honest hearts of the people who keep these ministries running. That's the conflict that I have with what she's done. I'm not knocking it at all. I think it's a great thing. But when you look at it when you look at it from a broader spectrum about who's all paying attention to this, and about the fact that we really have some people in this world who do not have noble, honest interests, and they do not walk in integrity. They are only concerned with what they can get out of somebody, and they will play and run with that as long as you let them. I'm just hoping that these ministries do not become like the Joel Osteen ministries, who end up telling you that it could be anywhere from 2 days to 2 weeks before you get approved for them to help you out, because of this social experiment that's been ran. I would like to know how you feel about it, so make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. I would like to start some type of dialogue on this, even if you agree or don't agree. Just please be respectful in the comments, and as long as you're respectful in the comments, and you're not, and you actually, even if we don't agree, as long as you talk to me respectfully, I'll respond, and I'll talk to you respectfully as well. But if you're disrespectful, or if you want to point fingers or just say the most crazy thing possible, then I guarantee you I will ignore it. And if it continues, you'll get blocked. But we build by talking about our differences and finding mediums in between those. Remember my 5 favorite things: stay focused, stay faithful, stay true to yourself, treat other people how you want to be treated, and give God all the respect and glory that God deserves, because God is doing a lot more in your life than you could ever imagine. Remember, I love you, and Jesus does too. I will see you Thursday for the Gospel Lens. Peace.